News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
KGVO Radio is currently off the air on our terrestrial stations, but we are online at newstalkkgvo.com. Those of you who are listening online, we welcome you and good morning. Our top story this morning, the Stage 2 fire restrictions have been imposed in Missoula County. Right now we do have 51 degrees, air quality listed as unhealthy to very unhealthy, depending upon how long you are exposed to the smoke and ash out in the air. Right now, again, we have 51 degrees. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Missoula Nissan Hyundai. Drive what you want affordably. Stop by Missoula Nissan Hyundai. Test drive Hyundai, America's best warranty. Located on Brooks next to Southgate Mall. Our top story, one of our top stories, and there are many this morning. County commissioners voted yesterday to impose Stage 2 fire restrictions throughout Missoula County, effective as of midnight this morning. Office of Emergency Management Director Adrian Beck explains.
This is as a result of the incredibly dry and conditions that we're seeing across the region, and as also with the fire behavior that we're seeing and the drawdown of resources that are available.
Beck says there'll be restrictions on campfires in addition to what are called hoot owl restrictions.
No campfires are allowed. And then there are certain activities that are prohibited from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m., formerly known as hoot owl, and that is operating any internal combustion engine, welding, or using explosives in the forest.
All right, let's continue. Just got a phone call. Hey, you're off the air. Yes, I know. Commissioners and fire personnel urge residents to use extreme caution until conditions improve. Mandatory evacuations were issued yesterday in Essex as the sheep fire has overwhelmed the firefighting efforts. Public Information Officer Jennifer Rankowski explains.
They had fire management action plan in place, and so the fire has reached one of those points of the management action plan. And so when the fire was to reach that point, they were going to order a mandatory evacuation for the Essex area.
Rankowski says 106 homes have been contacted with evacuation notices.
Red Cross is setting up the shelter at the West Glacier Elementary School at 160 Old River Bridge Road in West Glacier. And their phone number that people can get a hold of is 1-800-272-6668. The Highway 2 is still open and to the pilot cars, so we are still allowing traffic to go through, and the railway is still running at this time. Actually,
we just had an update on that. Authorities say an approaching wildfire has forced the closure of an 8-mile stretch of Highway 2 and evacuations in the community of Essex near Glacier National Park. All right. The West Fork Fish Creek fire burning in the Bitterroot National Forest has received very little attention, but now that it's grown to nearly 2,600 acres, Forest spokesman Boyd Hartwig says the blaze is causing more concern.
That fire has been skunking around up in the high country for at least a week. Hasn't been doing much. We've had a difficult time getting a size up because of the smoke. We flew a detection flight yesterday. Even with the detection flight from the air, weren't able to really get a good sense of the fire perimeter.
Now that the fire is triggering evacuations and road cleosures in the 9 Mile and Missoula Ranger districts.
As far as evacuations, that fire is probably 2 to 3 miles southwest of Clearwater Crossing, and Clearwater Crossing is probably another couple miles southwest of Hole-in-the-Wall Ranch. So we've got some space and some buffer, but we want to make sure that we notify folks about the fire activity and establish that area closure, and certainly close Clearwater Campground and the trailhead up there.
Hartwig says 4 to 5 structures were threatened near the ranch. For full details about the road closures, go to our website at newstalkkgvo.com. Another of our top stories this morning. Yesterday in Ravalli County Attorney Bill Fulbright announced in coordination with Sheriff Chris Hoffman and the DEA, former Dr. Chris Christensen was charged with 400 felony crimes and was arrested in his home. From a press conference covered by our Steve Fullerton.
These 400 felony charges relate to just 11 representative patients of the more than 4,700 medical files seized from his office. The charges accuse Dr. Christensen of 2 counts of negligent homicide, 9 counts of criminal endangerment, 306 counts of illegally distributing opiate-based drugs, 82 counts of illegally distributing non-opiate-based drugs, and 1 count of criminal possession of a Schedule IV controlled substance.
Back in April of 2014, Dr. Christensen was cited in the death of 2 patients from drug overdoses by the Montana Board of Medical Examiners. This resulted in the indefinite suspension of his medical license. Fulbright gave a great amount of credit and thanks to physicians, pharmacists, Valley citizens, and the DEA.
This has been a long process. More than a year of investigation work was completed before the search warrants were issued for Dr. Christensen's office and his home. Those searches on April 1, 2014 resulted in the task force seizing 4,718 medical patients' files and 1,500 additional files for medical marijuana patients.
As of yesterday, Christensen had not posted his $200,000 bail. The arraignment for the charges is this afternoon at 1:30. State officials say they plan to move about 15 people out of the Montana Developmental Center in Boulder by October to help alleviate a staffing shortage at the facility. Governor Bullock's Budget Director Dan Villa spoke yesterday to the committee overseeing the facility's closure. He says officials are talking with healthcare providers about moving some of the clients with developmental disabilities and mental health issues to their care. Villa says federal grant money is available to help pay for group home placements made by the end of September for clients who are ready to move. Missoula police have captured a suspect in an armed robbery that occurred at the Holiday convenience store on Russell Street this week. During the robbery, a man threatened the store clerk with a kitchen knife and then escaped with a 24-pack of Bud Light. Missoula Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh said the suspect was captured on Wednesday afternoon.
As of 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, we have made an arrest in the case. Brandon Galbraith, 19 years of age, had been identified, and a warrant was issued, and he was arrested yesterday afternoon. He will appear presumably this afternoon at 2:30 in Justice Court.
During the robbery, Galbraith was filmed pointing and making obscene gestures at the cameras, an act that led directly to his arrest.
It does appear that he was aware of the cameras. In fact, at one point pointed at the camera, and it became obvious that he had found it, knew it was there, and I'm assuming he guessed it was on. He looked right at it, helped us get a good idea of his facial features and structure, to the point that somebody called in and said, "I know who that is, and I know where he's located."
If convicted of felony armed robbery, Galbraith could get anywhere from 2 to 40 years in prison and a fine of $50,000, all for a case of beer that costs less than $20. News Talk time now, 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Smoky sunshine today with our high temperatures in the upper 80s. Windy conditions expected this weekend with a few late day showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. Highs will be in the 80s on Saturday, 70s on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.